18, or like yeah, 18, 19, 20, like it wouldn't was it we wouldn't want to like go go closer to like our parents for like certain stuff, and like that goes to like affect our relationship with them. Like I can't say like, yeah, dad, I want to go to the party, or like I want to go out with my friends, because then I'm thinking like, oh, he's going to yell back at me because I want to do something that he usually doesn't let me do.
Okay.
Oh, I was.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
go ahead.
never mind. I was just gonna add what them two said. Like, yeah, there's the resentment factor that factors in later on, and that things will just be tight and weird. And also just for like the benefit of the parents. Like, I don't know about other states, but I know that New Jersey doesn't really play those games when it comes to like child, or this country will be like child abuse or bullying or something. If your kid decides one day like, oh, I'm fed up, and they go to the guidance counselor, it's gonna be, hello, like CPS, can you visit blah 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 street. Um, just I know New Jersey just doesn't like play those games. Like you'll see them at your door, unfortunately. So that's another thing to think about, like outside of the home when people want to get involved.
Okay. So my next question is, oh, I just have to move on now. I'm sorry, but would you guys punish your children in the way that you were punished? Like, would you hit your children, or would you go a different route? I'm gonna start off with Kwabi because Kwabi has been a little silent. I want Stephanos to answer, and then I want Ephraim to answer.
You asked if I would beat my kids.
Would you like? Would you punish your kids the way that you were punished?
No, because whoopings or whatever you want to call it, it's not effective. All it's going to do is instill fear. It's not respect. It's not the same thing. Fear and respect are two different things. When you see your father and mother, when they beat you, when you see them, you're going to run away. That's what's going to happen. When you want to ask them for something, it will go in your mind, if I ask them and they get mad, will they beat me? It's not good. I wouldn't do that to my kids.
I think I would beat my kids because it, it helps. Because at the end of the day, you're gonna grow up and you're gonna remember all these times, and you're gonna remember what
It's
not to
not
do.
good times that
That's
you
good
remember.
times. Yes. I mean, it's traumatizing, but like, it's good for
Bro,
you.
what? Okay, everybody has their opinion. Okay, Ephraim, what do you think?
Alright, so like I'm not gonna beat my kids. Like I'll give them a punishment, but I'm not gonna whoop them. Cause like I've experienced many whoopings. I did not enjoy them. So like sometimes I wanna ask my parents, did they enjoy the whoopings and is that why they're giving me whoopings? But like you know what's gonna happen to me if I ask them that. So like
Okay, so you said you wouldn't punish them the way that you were punished. What are some like punishments that you would give, or do you think are better than getting whooped?
like make them do a plank or something till their arms are
That's
sore.
not that's worse, but okay.
It's not worse.
It's worse. It was worse to me, but okay. So our African parents, most of our parents came to America to create a new life, to create a new way. They want to create something new for the next generations. So, do you guys think that as our African parents came here, they adapted to the different ways, different cultures? Oh, you can't do this in public, or you can't say this in public. You can't curse the way that you want to. You can't just go and pee on any street or something. Do you think that our parents should have adapted to the way that Americans punish their children, or do you think that it's important to keep that kind of cultural aspect, traditional aspect of beating your kids? Do you think that like they should have kept the tradition, or should have been with the American way?
What do you mean like the American way?
Okay, so the typical, like, I'm not gonna try to be racist, but like the white people, or it's like they'll like talk to their child like, "Oh, Johnny, don't do that," or like I don't know, like don't do that. If they have to, they'll like hit them a little bit, but not too hard. Do you think because our African parents, they'll like go ham, like they'll start going crazy, yelling, whipping, everything. But the Americans would take a different approach, like, oh, why is he acting this way? Let's send him to therapy or something like that. Would you do that, or would you go with the traditional whooping, slapping, spanking?
Alright, look. So like how you said, in America, like they don't really beat their kids, right? Like, alright, some what are you doing? I'm just like waiting. Is he gonna get hit? Or no? And then so like I don't think like the tradition should go on. It's really your choice if you're gonna beat your kid or not. Cause like say your kid went to jail or something, you had to go bail them out. Like you would be angry and then you'd be forced to like whoop them or something.
I mean, at that point, ain't no whooping gonna happen.
Yeah.
Okay, so what do the rest of you guys think? They should have
Yeah.
kept the tradition or go the American route?
I don't think the tradition should like go away completely, but I think they can like start with other things. Like as you said, the American ways can be a little lenient, but on the other hand, I've seen. I hate to compare communities, but the white kids, like if you see their interactions, they do have a good rapport with their parents. It's more like a lot of like a friendship. I mean, it shouldn't be like too friendly. Like you see, the Kardashians are like too friendly, but you can tell like they have a rapport with their parents. They joke and stuff like that. There's at least from what I've seen, being in a predominantly white spaces my entire life, there's really no fear instilled in them. For me, like I said, if it like has to be like a last resort, I'll spank. But there's like a time and a place. Yeah.
I think, well, on this perspective, my kind of like use my parents and stuff, right? So like my mother at like the beginning, like when we first like landed in America, she wasn't like how you say like on the African tradition. Like she wasn't towards like beating stuff, but like when I had to get beat, I had to get. When I had to get beat, I had to get beat. But like I wasn't like the type of kid to like really do anything bad. Like I only have like a handful of stuff that I really did that was bad. But as I grew up, my mom like was more towards talking to me rather than like beating me because like her lifestyle, she didn't want it to happen to me. So like she was like towards talking to me while I was like growing up and like during my teenage years. So like me and my mom have like a little like friendship relationship, even though she's my mother. So like I respect her in that aspect, and like I don't really do anything bad to like cause that relationship to like break. So yeah.
Okay, so do you think that these types of beatings have led to trauma? Like, do you think a lot of us are filled with trauma and like just fear?
To a certain extent, yeah, because if you still remember like the trauma, like the pain that's like you had, it will leave a scar on your head, and like you won't forget that. But yeah, well,
Like some beatings I got, like in a few years later, I'm like, man, I really deserve that beating. So like, it doesn't really traumatize me, cause like I know what I did and I shouldn't have done it. But like, they should have disciplined me in a different way.
Um, it does traumatize you because sometimes when your mother's around you or your father is around you, and like you flinch a little because you don't know what they're gonna do. You don't know if they're gonna beat you or whatever. So
Okay, we're gonna move on to the next topic of conversation, and that's gonna be communication, because communication is important within a household. So, do you guys think that African parents communicate well, like speak to you or speak about things well?
Yeah, with my mom, I feel like she and my dad, yeah, they do like try and talk to me more, cause it's like it like there are some times where it's like I'm just like mad or whatever, and it's like I don't really feel like doing anything, and then they'll just like like come to my room, talk things out or whatever, and yeah, they'll be like that.
All right, so for me, me and my parents don't really talk like that. But like at times, I'm just angry. Like I don't even know why I'm angry. I'm just angry. And then my dad, he tells me to smile, and I try to smile, but like there's nothing to smile about. So
Sir.
yeah, sometimes it's just hard to talk to him. Like if I'm doing something and then he's angry, like try to explain that I wasn't trying to do anything bad, and then he doesn't really let me explain, and I'm just like I just listen to him.
So have your parents ever sat you guys down to talk about like the touchy subjects, like you know, the birds and the bees, the relationships and all this? Have they ever sat you down and be like, Kwabi, don't do this, Kwabi, you can have a girlfriend at this age or something like that? Have they ever sat you down to talk to you about stuff like that?
Yeah, they have. Not they didn't sat me down, but like, well, how old was I? I think I was like 13, maybe 12 or whatever. But it was like middle school, and like during middle school, they usually get like sex ed and stuff like that. But I remember like it was yesterday. I woke up, right? Got out of my room. My mom was cooking. I don't know. She was chopping tomatoes and stuff, like making I think she was making jollof. I don't know what she was making, but she was making food. And I was about to go in the fridge to make my daily eggs, right? So I went in there, and my mom just stopped me, and she was like, "You know, your body gonna go through things, and you're gonna want to do certain things." And I was just in my head, I was like, "This is not even the right time to do this."
So random. Like,
Yeah, I just woke up, and then she just told me everything. I was like, "Okay."
So how did you feel? Like was that weird? Or
Nah, it was weird because like it was very random, but it was random, but like that was the only weird part. But I like my personality was like it didn't weird me out, or like I didn't care enough to like for it to weird me out. But I already knew everything. But it was reassuring that my mom like told me about the extra stuff. So yeah.
Okay, so with me, I just kind of feel like in most African households, like those types of stuff is more like implied than spoken about. I feel as though some of them will be like it's just like you don't say it. You just like you should not be doing this. You should not be doing that. You should not be doing this. Da da da. And I feel like because it's implied, it makes it kind of uncomfortable for you to like go and approach your parents about certain things, like, oh mom, I really like this girl, or oh dad, I really like this boy, or something like that. You can't really like go because it's like more of like an implication, like just don't be doing this, don't be doing that. All right, so we talked a little bit about the white kids and stuff. Have you guys ever stood up to your parents and be like, Mom, this is this, and that's it? Have you guys ever stood up to your parents?
I've never been like, that's it, because like, it's not gonna turn out well after that. But I like try to do it maybe in a calm way. If it's like a tense situation, I might have attitude, but I try to like you have to try to make sure like the avenue respect is there just a little bit, but you have to also make sure that they try to listen to you and are respecting you as well. I think there can always be a calm way to like talk things out.
I tried to, but it didn't work. Like I didn't.
You try, what you say?
I didn't say well. I don't remember the situation, but I do remember like I tried to say something back, but he wouldn't understand my perspective of like what I did. I didn't even do anything wrong, but I tried to say my perspective, but I just got grounded. So I was like, there's no point in talking no more.
All right, for me, I've stood up to my parents a couple of times, and it didn't really end out well because the way I said it. Yeah, so like a few days ago, my dad told me to fold the laundry so I could like get it off my chest, and I was like, I told him I didn't want to do it right now, but it wasn't like that. It wasn't like I was disrespecting him or anything. I just like didn't feel like doing it right now, so like I should have just said, "Oh man, please do it later" or something. But I said I don't want to do it right now, and I now realize that was rude. But at the time, I didn't see it as it was rude. But my older sister talked to me, and then I was like, "Oh dang, I really did say it like that."
So none of you have ever gone to your parents like, Mom, I hate you, or stuff like that, like.
No, like it just like, do you want to be hit or do you want to like them to just not, like, because you know that they will not take it, they will not take that. It's like you gotta do it in a way where they will be willing to listen.
Okay. David, what about you?
I guess like I've kind of like yelled back at my mom a little bit this one time because it was like I didn't really feel like going to church this one Sunday. It was like
So how did she respond to you?
I mean she was talking about like yeah like we have to go to church every like we only get this chance every Sunday like stuff like that.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask this side some more questions because you guys are a little bit quiet. You're carrying it right now. Do you guys think that it's like easy to approach your parents about certain things? Like you can just go up to your parents and just talk to them about anything. Do you guys find it comfortable to go up to them and talk to them?
I guess I could. Cause I mean I'm basic like I'm cool with my dad and stuff like that. But I just like I don't. I guess I don't really get the chance to, cause like he's like always like out and stuff like that. So yeah.
Oh. I think it's easy to go up to her mom and ask questions, but like in a certain situation, sometimes just like I don't want to talk to her and go back in my room and think about it.
So like where I am, I can just go to my parents and just talk to them about anything, but it's just like sometimes I don't want to talk to them. Like I can figure it out myself and I can handle it myself. So
Do you guys ever feel like you have to rehearse the way that you're gonna say something before you have to go and speak to them? Do you guys feel like, oh, let me think about how I'm gonna say this to my mom? Okay. Or you have to think like, oh, I have to get her in a good mood or like something before I tell her something. So do you guys ever feel that way to go and get up, like rehearse before you go and talk to them?
For me, I don't really like rehearse. I just like I would go to my mom and like I would just like be cracking jokes with her or whatever, and then I'll just like yeah just say what I want to say.
Sometimes I just wait. What was the question again?
Do you feel like you have to rehearse what you're gonna say before you go and say it?
Um, Sometimes you speak out of anger and like you just let your emotions pour, but not really. I just speak out of anger sometimes. If I'm mad, sad, happy, it comes naturally.
Okay. So now, we're in a household where like Africans. Do you guys agree, first of all, that there's like affection, a lot of affection within the African household? Like, do you see like your mom and dad hugging or kissing or
Heck no.
stuff like
No.
that?
Heck no.
I've never in my life, in my 20 years, see them hug. I think I saw them like haggard, like kiss once, and I was like weirded out. I was like, I don't want to see this again because like I never seen them hug, like hold hands. I don't know, it's just so weird. Like I've never ever.
I seen it once. Never again. Never again.
Nobody wants to see that. Okay. So do you guys think that like just that lack of affection, it might not just be with like your parents, but like if your father or your mother doesn't come up to you and hug you or give you a kiss on the cheek or something, do you think that plays a good or a bad role in like our lives, like your children's lives?
Oh, oh, I think my parents are like very affectionate with me, or my dad less so, but my mom's like very affectionate. So I think that was a big helper to have that, like especially if you're down and you know that you can like be uplifted by their words or like by a hug or something like that. I think that is very important in for a child's development to know that you are cared for and loved.
And it could be with like, it can either be your parents showing affection to you or your parents showing affection to one another. Do you guys think that like it's good for the children or it's bad for the children?
I think it's good for the children, so they can know like their parents care about them. But sometimes like they get confused, cause they get whooped one day, and then the next day like their parents are just like, like how do I say this? Like joking around with them and stuff. Yeah, so like after my parents whooped me and then we're just talking, I'm like, I just forget that they whooped
could show affection, but their relationship really doesn't like affect how my relationship is gonna be like in the future. But man, there's no but. Like it doesn't really like affect how I'm gonna like play my emotions or like affection towards my kids or like my future wife.
Um, I would say like even though they don't show romantic affection at all, they like show affection in other ways. Like my parents can joke a lot and they like talk a lot, so I know that oh like there's like affection within each other like that. I know like maybe because I didn't see as much, I will probably be like a lot. I know like I will be a lot more affectionate. Yeah, but it would be nice to see like go on a date, hold hands, or something.
Date night. Okay, what about the rest of you?
For me, I rather not see my parents show affection, cause it's like I know like me and my sisters, it would be kind of like weird to like I'm just like let's say like I'm walking to the living room and I see like my parents like kissing or whatever, like that's just
Oh
weird.
my.
Nah.
Okay, okay. So now let's talk more about mental health because I feel as though a lot of children are really suffering with their mental health because of these African households. So number one, do you think that African parents believe in mental health? Or are they like those types of like, oh, you are depressed? Go and talk to God. Are
Yeah.
you like
I think that they acknowledge its presence in the world, but I don't know that they necessarily believe in it, just with the way they answer to certain things. Like you said, like oh, if you say like oh, I'm feeling maybe depressed or anxiety or something, they just like pray as if it's some sort of like magical concoction I can use to undepress myself. Like yes, I absolutely pray, but like in addition to what? In addition to I gotta talk to somebody. In addition to I have to like take medication or something. Um, yeah, like or they just say other stuff. But I think they like know that it's around, but I don't know if they like necessarily like believe. They'll just be like, oh, it's Satan or something.
In my opinion, is like in like is a different perspective for like each household. My household, like I don't have like mental issues, but if I were to say like I have like depression or like I have anxiety, and if I told my mom works in like the medical field, like around there. So like if I were to tell her that, then like she will like help me, or if I tell my dad, he would try to help me like through it, and he's like you pray, and then we would try to like figure it out together. So it's like it depends on each household, cause some households be like oh like what do you mean? Yeah, was it like what do you mean you have depression? Like I have there's a roof over you. I give you fufu.
cool for you?
I
Yeah,
do all
why are
that.
you depressed?
Yeah, why are you depressed?
Me, I should be depressed because I did everything. You are depressed for that.
Oh my
So
gosh.
for me, about the mental health thing, like how I talked about how like I get angry over little things. So when I try to talk to them about it, they say something so like make me regret I started talking to them in the first place. And then like I'm just angry at them all the time just because of that one moment. And then um yeah, like and then later I try to go talk to them again and then they tell me now that you're happy you want to come talk to me again. Yeah, that happens a lot. Like, but it's not like that. It's like I'm scared to talk to you because what you're gonna say is gonna make me regret speaking to you, and I'm just like I just don't talk to them at all.
So do you think that they believe in mental health then? Like, or do you think like they just don't really see what mental health is?
Well, actually, my siblings do believe in mental health, so like I talk to them. Marjorie and Theo, I can talk to them because like they listen to me and like they give me advice and like tell me how to speak to my parents and tell me how not to speak to them. So like when I disrespect them, they get angry as well. Like why did I do that? And then like yeah, they help guide me too.
Okay. So I think parents like they kind of undermine mental health a little bit because when you're hurt you go to the hospital. When you're hungry you go to the restaurant or something. But when your mind is broken why are they still so attached to just God? I know you said that, but like if somebody else can chime in, why are they so close to God when it comes to mental health at least?
I think it's like, well, I don't know why, but like, I just want to say like, um, I think it's the culture. I think it's the culture like many African cultures. They know mental health is, but they don't take it seriously. They would usually just, oh, it's Satan. Oh, it's all in your head. Oh, it's this. It's that. Oh, you have all this. Why are you depressed? And it's just not taken seriously. That's just all it is.
Um, I think it's just probably a general lack of education on what exactly mental health is and how to deal with it. Probably because they weren't able to receive those kind of treatments in Africa. Like I don't know how like developed like mental health institutions are over there. And like even with that, like it might not just be like an African issue. It could be just like a societal issue. Like look at the backlash Simone Biles has gotten just because she had to pull out. And it's just been like astronomical. So I think society or the world in general doesn't even understand like what it means to have your mind not right.
Okay. So now, what about African aunties and uncles and the little statements that they make? You know, things like, "Oh, Bobby, you're putting on weight." "Oh, Nana, you're losing too much weight." Da da da. Da. "Oh, Nana, you're growing like this." Da da da. Da. You're becoming. What do you feel about that? Like, is that a good thing to your mental health, or is that a bad thing to your mental health?
Alright, for me, I'm like, I don't care, cause like, for me, I was like really skinny, and then I gained some weight now. So like, when they say it, I'm like, I didn't gain that much weight. I work out every day, so like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, alright, so like, a lot of guys, like when they growing up and they hit puberty, they gain some chest, like yeah, and it's not fat, so like, and then people call you fat over that, and they're saying like, oh, he has man titties, he got that and stuff, and then you're just like, you just like don't want to explain it to them because you like don't have time for them. That's the mindset I put in my head, and I don't want to explain anything to anyone. But I think I need to stop that and start talking to people instead of just ignoring them.
So, David, what do you feel about like the little snark comments that African aunties and uncles are always talking about?
I guess like this girl, like Auntie Grandma, she like lives.
Now she pointed her out.
So it's like she's not like there could be times like I come back from the gym or something and she's like, oh like you go to the gym too much, you gotta like stop, you're getting too big and stuff. So yeah.
How does that make you feel? Does it make you feel good, or does it make you feel like, why are you gonna do this?
I don't really care because it's like I do it for me. I do it for like this like I play football, so like I do it for that. There's no like reason why I go to the gym just like come home and like flex or whatever. You know what I mean? Something like that.
Can I chime in on that?
Um,
Yeah.
Alright, so like for me, I think it's for a lot of people. Like African parents, they would talk about their kids, but on other people's kids, they would like, alright, say you had a cousin, right? And their auntie was talking bad about them to your mom, and then your mom was like, their kid is worse. Like, are you serious? And we're sitting right there, and they will say something like that. It just hurts your feelings. I'm like, why are you treating that kid better than me?
for me, it's always oh, you're so tall, you're so skinny, but it does take a toll on your mental health, but like in a good way, because at the end of the day, you have to learn how to self care and love yourself. At the end of the day.
I feel as though like I just feel like speaking on weight in particular is like you have to stop it. Like because realistically nobody really wants to hear that, oh, you're gaining weight or you're losing weight unless you're purposely trying to gain or lose weight. So I just feel like little snarky comments that African aunties and uncles like to make, oh, Caleb, you're doing this, you're doing that, you're talking about me. Your son is out there gaining 50 pounds. You haven't commented. You're talking about me.
Yeah, yeah.
But what I do is,
Yeah,
oh,
weight
everybody has to
weight
talk.
is a
Like,
no-no.
I just feel as though like we should stop talking about weight. Like just stomp it out. Like just stop. Everything else is like, okay, I can kind of bear with it. But weight is something that like it's like very sensitive, especially
Yeah.
in this country. It's like you can't be telling people that oh you are big. Like in Ghana, okay, it makes more sense because when you're in Ghana, they like the bigger the better. So it's like if you get like oh you're gaining weight in Ghana, it's like a compliment because it's like yeah you're filling out nicely. But in America, you tell if you tell I went to go tell a stranger hey you are big, oh, they'll be like huh? Like they will slap you. Like you don't play with
Bro.
weight in America. So I just feel like in
Bro.
America that weight stuff must cut off.
Bro, like for real.
Okay, what about like some like because in African culture there are like very weird uncles and aunties. What about like some of the uncles and aunties that like to like comment on sexual things, like just like sexualizing you kind of makes you feel weird because it's a very real thing. And that's what I wanted to bring up because it's like sometimes we like to skip over that, like ignore the comments, but like sometimes it's really like weird and it has to stop as well.
Yeah, I don't understand why. I would like I thankfully never like specifically had it, but I've seen others and they'll be like, oh, like you grown big and like the do the twirl thing, like oh what, this is just inappropriate. It's absolutely inappropriate, and yeah, you just have to stop it.
In my perspective, I've never seen that happen, but I've like heard from other people that they have it, had experiences from it, and I really think that that's pretty weird. That's definitely weird because like you're sexualizing somebody who's like 20 years younger than you, and you don't think that's wrong.
Okay. So we all know the saying, it takes a village to raise a child and all this stuff. I've in African culture, it's very common for like anybody to go and like discipline your child. Like in Ghana, for instance, if you're walking and you're walking in a bad way, anybody can snatch you up and hit you or like tell you what's what. But in America, you can't really do that. My question to you guys is, would you let like other people completely discipline your children, like do whatever?
No,
Absolutely not.
no.
Okay, what about if it's your sister? Like, let's say you sent your child to your sister's house, and your sister is just beating them, and you can see them like your sister is beating them. Would you like would you
I
stand
would
back?
I would intervene because like these are my kids. I don't know. I mean, you're my sister, but like I don't know what you're doing to them. I'm not there. These are my children. I gotta raise these kids, and you're beating them. Like if you don't got my house.
Alright, so like, my sister, she whoops me, so like, I feel like I don't really have a say, but like, I want to hear my kid's side of the story. Like, don't just whoop my kid.
But
I'm
would
not.
you believe your kid says? Because yeah, parents will be like, okay, Kayla, what happened? You tell them what happened, but they'll still believe the adult. Would you believe your child over the adult? Like, let's say it's your sister versus your child.
Alright, so like, obviously it's my kid, so I like live with the kid, so like, I know how he is and how he acts. Like, so then if what he says is like him, and what my sister says is like her, I'm gonna have a difficult time deciding, and I'll eventually have to let it go.
For me, I don't care what the situation is. Like, you're not my kid's like
That's
parent.
facts.
Like, it's not up to you to like put your hands on them or whatever. You know what I mean? Like
So
my
what
kid.
about if they're like verbally like abusing them? Like, okay, they're not putting their hands on them, but they're actually talking to them in a very disrespectful manner. What would you feel about that?
Yeah, I would still feel like that's kind of like wrong.
Like
Like that's like why would you do that?
I still feel like that's still not your kid. You can't talk to my child like that. It's my job as the parent to discipline them, not yours. I didn't tell you to talk to my kid like that.
Alright, for verbal abuse, I hate that. I would never verbally abuse somebody unless they do it to me. Like, but like, I'm not saying that's right to like verbally abuse somebody because they did it to you. But like, if somebody says something that hurts my feelings, I'm gonna like go beyond, and that's like not right. And I want to try to stop that because I said some mean things things to some people, and I regretted doing it.
Okay, so do you think this is gonna be like one of my last questions for this specific topic? Do you think that our parents only parent the way that they do because other parents are available? Like, let's say, my mom, like, I'll go to my mom about, like, oh, mom, I want to go to Aruba today, and I'm not going to come back until next month. And my mom initially will be cool with it, but let's say she talks to another auntie or something, and then the auntie is like, oh, that's not good, and then my mom will come back and be like, oh, no, yeah, you can't go to Aruba. Do you think, like, our parents only do that because other parents are watching, or do you think that they parent just because?
Well, I feel like sometimes when it comes to African parents, they really only care, and it's gonna sound, you know, but I feel like sometimes they really only care so they can show off. Like, some of these things, do you really care about this, or do you just wanna tell your friend, oh, my son is doing this, my son is doing that? I feel like African parents, they're very influenced by their circle, and they're very influenced by, you know, their other friends.
I feel like with my mom is like me and her like we're cool. So it's like if I ask her like I want to do something, like she'll say yes. But like it's like sometimes she just like she switches up, you know. She's like she gets off the phone with one of her friends, and then it's like boom, I can't do anything. I gotta stay home and stuff.
For me, like when I want to do something, like I want to run track. My dad supports that. He says I gotta work hard, do this and do that. And then he's like, this. He compares me to other people. I'm like,
I hate that.
I'm like, he doesn't want me to look bad. He just wants me like, how do you say this? Yeah, he wants me to achieve. Like he wants me to like basically do what that person did. But he's not trying to say the person's better than me or anything.
Yeah, I think there definitely is the image factor in, and like they are always thinking about perception, a lot. So yeah, there can be outside influence, and then it's like they switch up.
So I gotta move on to the next topic, and now I want to talk about like our beliefs. So have you guys ever felt forced to go to church on Sunday? I mean, you ever felt forced? Do you still feel forced to go to church on Sunday?
No.
No. But
Why
when we
is
was
that?
kids, it was yes.
Why is that?
All right. For me, I don't feel forced to go to church. I'm like, God did a lot for us, so we have to go to church. For me, like sometimes I'm like, I worked hard to achieve this thing. Like I was studying and studying, and then like my dad tells me to read, I read. Sometimes I don't, cause like, and I study later, and then I pass the test, and then people would tell me, God did it. But then in my mind, I'm like, I was just studying. What are you talking about? And then I'm like, okay, yeah, it was him.
Okay, so I'm gonna ask this. Someone else can answer this question. Do you think you're a Christian, right?
Yeah.
Do you think that you're only a Christian because that's all you've ever known, or do you think that you're a Christian because you yourself, like, you found God?
As a kid, you were forced, but like when you grow up and like you really see everything as a teenager and like what Christianity you want to, I mean, what religion you want to choose, you choose Christian.
But like, have you actually explored different,
No,
so
never.
why haven't you? Why is it that you're so?
I'm not comfortable talking about other gods, other beliefs, because I feel like it's disrespectful. And like if I don't know the topic, I won't learn about it. I won't talk about it. So yeah.
Okay, Nana, what about you?
I think when I was younger, yeah, it was kind of like the force factor because I didn't understand. But I definitely think my time in youth has really helped my like spiritual development. And so without that, like I'm not sure, I probably would still maybe feel forced. But like now, like I want to know God for myself, and like I don't really like look into other religions, because I don't know. I just think like their ideologies are a little bit weird. So yeah, I choose like I generally choose it for myself.
So why don't you guys like do your research about other like religions? Because yeah, you can focus on God, but like it's also important for you to like understand everybody like else's religion. I guess like me, I went to a Catholic school, and that's not my denomination. But in that Catholic school, I learned a lot about Islam and stuff like that, and I learned a lot about their ways. And yes, their ways are different from our ways, but they also do have valid points, and that's what I get. But at the end of the day, I still know that I'm Christian because like I did my research. It's like you like it sounds as though like a lot of people here are Christians because that's all they know. They haven't done their research because they know that they're Christian. But like, why is it that like, it seems as if you guys are afraid to go and do your research?
It's like not that I'm like afraid, but it's just like I'm a Christian, so like why would I like go and like look into like another like religion?
I mean, it's not like looking to another religion to change your religion, but just to understand why people believe what they do.
I think like once you like, I feel like there's a confirmation bias. Like once you do that, it's like like what? Like what did that all I know like was a lie or something or lack of education. But like if you go through the other religions, they're I don't know. Like if you go through Islam, like some of the things you won't agree with, like they don't believe Jesus is the prophet, and same with Judaism, they don't believe Jesus is the prophet. Hinduism, Buddhism believe in like what like reincarnation. That's like I don't know like how plausible. So I guess you could look into the other religions to like confirm for yourself, like, okay, I know that Christianity is the way.
I don't think people are scared to like learn about other religions. I think they're just like uncomfortable doing it. Cause like in school, we were studying about Greek mythology, and these were the gods that the Greek people believed in, like Hades, Zeus, Poseidon, Ares, and stuff. It was pretty cool learning about them, cause like they had cool powers. I'm like, so they were like superheroes to me. I'm like, and they would probably think like that's disrespectful, cause like you're thinking of their gods as like superheroes when you probably saved them. They feel like they were saving them or something. Yeah, I thought it was a really cool topic, but like I'm a Christian and I like it.
Okay. So my next question is towards Kobe and Kwabi. Most of our parents, like, because they're Christians and we see that they're doing Christianity and all this practices and beliefs, we became Christians as well. When you have children, would you influence them to become Christians, or would you like have like let them like discover other religions and then let them pick their own religion?
I mean, for me, I would raise them as Christian because that's how I was raised. But eventually, they're gonna want to learn about other religions, and I have to let them learn and see if they see the flaws in those other religions, and see if they want to stay in this one or convert. Because I can't force them to be Christian. I can influence them, but I can't necessarily say you have to be this way. Because even God Himself said that He gave us free will, and He doesn't, because He could force all of us to be Christian, but He doesn't do that. So I can't do that to them as well.
Kobe, what do you have to say?
Well, I wouldn't. Well, no, actually, I would raise them up in like a Christian household. But was it? I would explain to them like there's other different religions, and like explain to them how like they differ from like Christianity and stuff like that. But was it? I would like rather like them be Christian, but I want them to understand that there are other stuff like out there that you may like find, or may have friends that like differ from like, was it what we like learn from, or like what we believe in, and yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna talk about a little bit about expectations because that's a big thing also in the household. A lot of our parents kind of place these expectations on us, especially in terms of like career and education. Like definitely go for your masters, go for your doctorates. You have to
both my parents been through the college system. Both have degrees in like they respective fields, and like they know like how hard it is to like be like a doctor. Like you have to go through years and years of school, and the amount of money you have to like pay if you don't have like decent enough grades. Like it's like all that into it. They wouldn't like tell me like, or they would tell me to be a doctor, or like stuff like that. But like they would recommend like some other options, like oh like be an engineer, like go into like computer science or something. Then like in those 4 years, you'd probably be making the same amount as a doctor, or like do other options.
Yeah, I think like David said, they just want better for us. And like if you think about the career options, they say lawyer, doctor, engineer. Well, what do they all have in common? They all have that like financial security in common. So maybe like in their past life they didn't grow up affluent or anything like that. So they want that financial security for us, so we don't have to worry about struggling or bills or anything like that. So I think that's why they gravitate towards those careers.
Okay. Now I want to talk about sibling rank and gender roles within the household because this is a very pressing topic to me. I'm going to ask my brother this because this is pressing to me. Do you think that there's a difference in responsibility in terms of the household?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so
If you're the
let's.
oldest, take the more, the more
Why?
complicated job. I'm
Why?
the youngest. I
Why?
should take. I should catch a break.
We should be raised the same.
No,
We should be raised the
you're the
same.
oldest. You're supposed to be
Okay.
teaching me.
No.
No.
In my house, like me and my mom have this bond where we just help each other out. Right? Like, so I help her a lot, and then sometimes I get angry because like as soon as I sit down, I'm getting called again, and I sit down again, I'm getting called again. I'm like, and then these are one of the reasons I get angry. But my little sibling, he's just sitting there. He leaves his plate on the table. At the end of the day, yeah, and then I end up having to take his plate to the kitchen. But like, he doesn't really do that anymore because like everybody's telling him to do this and that now. So
Yeah.
like, yeah, he sweeps every now and then.
Yeah,
So he's taking more responsibility.
I do think it's a little bit of fair on us older kids that like we're getting like partially the responsibility or most of the blame sometimes. It's like, do you want me to be parent number 3 or something like that? I don't think kids should raise other kids. But I definitely think you can be a guiding influence on your younger siblings. Help them in any way that that you can, because you've done it like so college things, guiding them, giving them that advice. But I don't think that we should have that pressure to straighten them out because I'm still a child myself as well, or I'm not anymore. But
I agree that the firstborns get the most pressure and like the most responsibilities as well. But I'm talking to all my firstborns here or like stuff like that. Even the secondborns or whatever. Do you guys think that there's a difference in discipline, like when it comes to because I know when I was growing up, I got disciplined. Okay, Stephanos grew up and it's like, oh,
What?
and I know,
What?
I know. It's like okay, there's like people are there's like two different personalities. Me and Stephanos are two complete different people. But it's like some of the stuff that Stephanos used to do when he was growing up. I would look at my mom and I'll be like, "Are y'all not gonna discipline? If you
What?
won't discipline, I will discipline him." Like,
take matters to my own hands. Like,
because I think there was a difference in discipline. And Stephanos, you gotta lie.
I'm not
See
a
here,
what?
bro.
Alright, for me, I'm the middle child. And things suck for the middle child. Cause the oldest child, like they're growing up now, they're doing whatever they want. They go to parties. They're growing up. They're in their 20s. They get their cars and stuff. Leaving the house soon. And then the middle child has to start taking more responsibility. Like doing more around the house, helping your parents, you know. And the little one's just there annoying you, doing nothing.
Talk about it.
Yeah, I'd say like the first ones definitely get more of that discipline as they grow up. Like I don't know, the last kid is just like they do something. I don't know. When I see coffee, like you do something, and they'll like call him. They'll be like, "Why did you do that?" He'll explain, and yeah, if it was me, it'd be like, "Ah, fuck you." But with coffee, they were just like, "Okay, so why did you do that?" And he would like explain himself. They'll be like, "Okay, don't do that again." Like what? Okay.
For me, I think it's like different, and it's like it's way worse. Cause it's like not only am I the oldest, I have two younger sisters. So it's like when I do something, then it's like my parents are like mad, more mad. Like let's say like uh, my sister like breaks her phone or whatever, then it's like my parents they don't they're not that mad. But then it's like if I do it, then it's like it's a whole nother thing. Cause like I'm the oldest, I gotta set examples and stuff like that.
Okay, so Kobe, you probably feel a little bit left out here, but I'm going. I have some questions for you. So now you're in the hot seat. So you grew up in an only child household. How did that feel?
In terms of what?
Just how does it feel to be an only like? Do you like? How do you feel being an only child?
Um, okay. So how I grew up, I really technically wasn't like a only child, cause when I first landed in America, like I lived with my cousin, and me and my cousin basically like the same age. Is like only like I don't know like what a 6 month difference. So she was like basically my sister, and we grew up with each other till I was like I think 9 ish. So like I did have like a little sibling, but I left out the house and like lived like with my mother, and then my father came in, and then like yeah I lived like on my own. But my cousin like is still like across the street, so like I go to her like sometimes and stuff. So like I wasn't really like raised in like only child way, but like I was only child.
Okay, so when you were like prominently an only child, like just the only guy in the household, like did all the responsibilities go to you? Because like firstborn and secondborns they'll like split up like the chores and stuff. Did all the chores and stuff go to you, or like was it split between your parents and you?
It was split between me and my parents at first, cause like I didn't know how to do like certain stuff, or like I wasn't like strong enough to like do certain things. Like when I'm 9 years old, I don't know how to make rice on the stove. Like I can't do that. But like you know how to make rice on the stove? Like on the stove. Not when the rice cooker. But was it? Yeah, like those like still stirring stuff. Like I don't know how to make jollof. Like I'm gonna say that right now. I don't know how to make jollof. Like that, like cooking, like that goes towards my mom. Like sweeping. Well, I don't usually sweep, but like I usually like clean the bathtub or like um was it do the dishes and stuff like that. Sometimes my dad like mops the floor or like vacuums like the living room. Like it's split between us. But sometimes I do most of the stuff. Like I do the laundry because like man, the laundry be stacking up, man. And I gotta do that. But yeah,
Okay, so do you think that there's a like common reception or whatever with the only child that like the only child is always spoiled or like whatever. Do you think that you personally are spoiled?
to a certain extent.
What do you mean?
Like I'm not able to like ask my parents like yo like, can I get that? Can I get like a PS5? Like I'm not gonna ask my parents that. But like well when I was growing up, like I know my mom was struggling and my dad was struggling too. So like I wouldn't ask them for like certain stuff. And even now, like when like they gain like large amounts of money and stuff like that, I don't ask like to be like ask for stuff, but they give me stuff like out of I don't know because like they want to. So I could like say like I'm spoiled in that aspect, but like when I ask for something, like I usually ask like once in a while.
Okay. So now I'm going to introduce the general aspect into it. I feel as though, David, you said that, oh, you're the only born, you're also the eldest. Nanny, you're the only girl, and you're also the eldest. So what are like the differences between like responsibility? I want to hear like both sides.
I do like it's worse for me because like my parents are always calling me to do
Oh, yeah, definitely the gender role thing bothers me a lot more than the ranking system because I feel like they'll be like, oh, because of your gender, you must do this. I'll be like, but we're all eventually going to move out and be on our own, so shouldn't we all do this? But I won't lie, like Kofi's like very, very good at doing chores and things like that a lot better than me. But I feel as though it shouldn't be like because you're a woman, these are your roles as a woman, and because you're there, man, they must do. Like I don't know, they always say like you should do this because of this. I don't really see them say that to Kofi and Kwabi or like bring up their gender. But for me, they definitely will bring up the fact that I'm a girl.
Okay, so to the rest of you, why do you think that like parents treat boys and girls differently in the household?
My house it doesn't go like that. In my house, whether you're a boy or girl, you're gonna be helping around in the house.
Okay, Bobby, why do you think that they treat you differently from men?
They don't. But if you want to
She says they do.
like talk in a general aspect, it's like probably the traditional household roles. Like, you know, the husband goes out and makes the money, the wife stays at home, cooks, cleans, and they're probably just in that mentality. So that's why they train them different.
So do you guys think that we should kind of break that mentality that girls do this, boys do that?
Yeah, to like a certain aspect, because like I feel as though like girls shouldn't know how to cook, like that. But not
So
no.
you don't
wait,
think
wait,
you
wait,
should
wait,
like?
wait, wait, damn. I say like women should know how to cook as well as men.
You didn't finish.
Oh, I didn't get to finish, right? Thank you. Like that aspect, like women shouldn't be the only one that learns how to cook, but like men should like learn how to cook, but it should be like was it a natural like love of requirement, I guess, because once you live on your own, you're not going to like go on DoorDash, get McDonald's or was it whatever Burger King, and then get a Whopper and then go eat. Like you're not supposed to like do that when you're older.
Okay, so then what about like you said that it should be a requirement for everybody to learn how to cook. Why do like the mothers especially teach their daughters how to treat a man? Why do you think that they don't go to their son and be like, oh, this is how you treat a lady? I feel like a lot of my guy friends, like they haven't had that, like, oh, your mom's telling you, oh, this is how you should treat a lady. But like with the girl, some of my friends that are girls, like they'll be like, oh, my mom was always telling me, oh, this is how you treat a man, how you cater to a man. Why is that like a thing?
For me, it was like it's basically like implied. Like when I was like younger, I would like be like playing with my sisters or whatever, and like sometimes it would like I would be like too rough. Like all of us would like get too rough, and then like sometimes like my dad would pull me aside and like, oh, like you shouldn't like go too hard on them because you know like there's little girls, I'm the older guy, you know, stuff like that.
I think a part of it is because of the way they grew up too. Because like our parents are what Gen X or baby boomers, so like 60s, 70s. Like in that time, it was like the woman like must cater to your man. So like they were in that mentality, and also like probably like a part of it also is image. Like when you marry into like the family, they don't want the in-laws to like say something about you or your parenting skills or like the daughter like, oh, like they didn't raise her right. Like, so they don't want to like, hear that like in the course of the marriage.
About what Kobe said about the men learning how to cook, like the women. I think that's really important that the man does learn how to cook like the woman, cause like not your mom, she prepares that good food. You need to learn how to do that, cause you're in America, you're not gonna get a wife like that. Who knows how to cook like that? Yeah, so
Okay.
you need to learn how to make it like your
What are
mom.
you trying to say though?
Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
What do you mean by that?
Like, alright, so like, mom makes jollof rice, right? You like the jollof rice, but you feel like when you get married to an American girl, she's not gonna be able to make jollof
Who says
rice.
she's American?
So like you have to learn from
we just want to like be at home and we want to be the house husband or something and cook food. Like, why is that like such a problem that we can't like stay home and like have the motherly duties?
Like, I know like
It's not a
there's
problem.
situations where like the woman's like the breadwinner and the man's like less of the breadwinner. But I guess like if you want to go biblical, I think like the Bible says like the man's supposed to like protect and provide, and then like the woman's like the neck, and then she'll like be the supporter and helper. So
Okay, and a man can still provide, but and protect, but be at home. You know, you don't have to go out and like chasing the bag continuously. You could be at home chasing the bag, catering towards the children. Why is that so frowned upon? I feel as though, like in our society, okay, yeah, we're becoming more progressive, where it's like a man can stay home and the woman can make more money, but it's also frowned upon. Like if you see a man that he's just like at home, you think, but are you? What's wrong with you? Like, why are you? You're not making any money. You're lazy. You're a bum. Especially for in-laws, because if you plan on marrying an African, their in-laws are gonna look at you like, what do you do? Why are you at home?
I don't know. I thought like the men were supposed to be the providers, and like I guess if you like have a stay a home job where like you are making X amount of money, yeah, that's fine. And I, if you need like need to switch off like sometimes, oh like hard times, like can you pick up some of the slack? I think that's okay as well. But to stay home and be nothing, like that's how you create what men say, like alpha females. Like, do you want that alpha female where then she has to do all the things and then like, all right, she's the head of the household now basically, and then you're like, oh, like you're not submissive enough to me, you're not feminine enough for me. It's like, well, you're not doing your masculine duties anyway, so like I don't really need to submit you in that aspect.
Well, to me, it doesn't really matter if the husband or wife is succeeding more, cause like as long as you're surviving, you're good.
Okay, I hear that. All right, so we're about to start wrapping up. Before we start wrapping up, I like to end on a good note too. We talked about some deep stuff, so now I need to end on a good note. So my question is a little goofy, but were you guys allowed to, like, let's say, go out and you are at an auntie's house? Were you allowed to accept her food, or will your mom give you the side eye and be like, "Don't go and take. If you take that food, I will come over and do shit."
Like, what do you mean by just like a random person's house, or is it
No,
like my actual?
let's say you're outside. Let's say you're coming to church, and we're having a church event. And mom is you like, who cooked this? And they like auntie so and so. Your mom hears it as well, and she's like, she's just looking at you.
No, church is fine. Honestly, it depends on like which side of the family. Like I don't know, in-laws.
But certain food you cannot eat. Like,
Church is fine. It's like if it's like not her side, or like just general speaking, if it's like not the maternal side, and like the paternal side does something for you, they're just like make sure you pray over it, make sure you like do this. Like what? Like wait, I know both.
Sure
I know both. So honestly, I think it's more like family based for that. Then yeah, church is fine.
Because sometimes it's like, okay, you can accept the food, but if you enjoy the food too much, where the auntie is looking at you like, hey, it's eating my jollof, it's lasting better than yours. Like, it's a competition thing. It's a competition thing as well. Like, I feel as though, like, certain people's food I can't eat. Like, I just, like, I have to be timid and be like, oh, no, auntie, I'm not hungry. I'm okay. Thank you. But,
Me, like when I go to like my aunt's house, my parents like they like encourage us to actually like eat. It's like my sisters don't really eat.
Alright, for me, my parents don't stop me from eating at an auntie's house. But like something they do stop me from doing is taking something from a friend at school.
Yeah.
because it looks bad. I'm not gonna lie, it looks bad. But, all right, so what are some sayings that your parents say that you would hate hearing? Like for me, one thing that pissed me off, I think this is universal, but go and grab the remote control. Meanwhile, the control is right next to them. I came all the way from my room just to go and give you the remote control. Like, I don't like that as well.
Alright, this is one I don't like hearing at all. Take a book and read.
Oh my god.
I remember that one.
I remember that one. And it was even worse for me because my dad had like a Sudoku book, and like that's the like with puzzles with like the numbers and stuff. He would like go and play like on Saturdays too. I remember vividly. Saturdays we were watching TVN, and then we had to do studies instead of going outside. So it was like
mom calls my name, and then I say yeah, she doesn't say nothing.
Oh,
And she's like, Kwabena. I'm like,
Jesus.
yes.
No,
And
no,
then
No
like,
response.
I called you. You have to come here and see and talk. No, I responded and said, Caleb. Okay, yes, yes. I can't hear you, Caleb.
Right, I can't even say yes. Like I'd say
Yeah.
yes a lot with the yes with the.
My mom is cool with me saying yes, but still, it's like more respectable for you to go out, see what she wants, and then you can't just answer from your room.
Like for me, it's just like sometimes my mom be calling me, I'm like yes, and then she says my name, I'm like yes, and she says I'm like I'm right in front of you. Can you not hear me? And then she says. She calls me again. It's like yes, and then she calls me again. I'm just like, oh, you want me to say yes, ma? It's just like it's not that deep.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, like bro, what?
Okay, so another thing that I don't like hearing is like when they try to make you feel bad for wanting to do something. Okay, so let's say you feel tired or something like, oh mom, I don't feel like washing the dishes right now. I put a roof over your head. I go to work every
Yeah,
day.
like what?
I
Okay.
and it's like you're making me feel bad. Now you want me to go. Okay, I'll go and do it. But what was the point? Like
Yeah, well.
I'm gonna do it eventually, but you have to make me feel bad in order to do it. I don't like that.
I think in our heads we're like, we can do it later, but they want it done right away.
Yeah.
And we're like, there's nothing, in our heads, they're like, there's nothing wrong with doing it later. But they're like, why can't you do it now?
yeah, yeah.
Okay, so were you guys allowed to cry while you got beat?
What?
Just
Wait, what?
like I was not allowed.
I was 4 years old, right? I used to go to school in Ghana. Yeah, so I just started preschool in Ghana. So I walked into school, I was 4 years old, so I started crying. I didn't want to be there. I didn't know anybody there. And then they whooped me. I started crying. And then, well, I was already crying because I didn't want to be there. And then they whooped me because I was crying.
Yes, that's.
And they were like, be quiet. And I'm like, stop whooping me then.
Bro, mine was like, okay, I was like, they'll be beating me, and because it hurts, I'm crying. Why are you crying? What? Why are you crying? And I'm just like, I'm crying because you're beating me. Like, yeah, I can't do anything
cry,
else
they'll
but
just ignore
cry.
it.
Like,
Ignore it.
but I guess that was only me. I was not allowed to cry while I was or whatever. Have your parents ever turned the smallest little thing into like a big deal?
Yes, like what? It was not supposed to be this blown out of proportion. Like you just took it and went left when it could have been solved simply.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that one. I remember one time, right? I was a little kid, right? So it was this boy that lived in my apartment building, right? Name was Prince. So he had his own problems that I'm not gonna say on the live because it was no, what he did was like very bad, right? So he went to like fight this girl like that I knew in the building, right? So one of my friends named Omar, he was like, no, don't do that. Like, that's not cool. You're not supposed to be, like, fighting a girl. And then he was like, what? Like, don't talk to me like that and all that, like, other stuff. And then the Omar was like, you're not going to talk to me. And he was about to fight. He was about to, like, fight him. But out of his respect, like, out of, like, his own, like, thought, he was like, nah, I'm not going to fight you. I'm going to tell your parents. So I, being, like, you know, the friend, I'm like, yo, gang, like, I'm going to go in, right? So I went with him to like his parents' house, to like the guy that he wanted to fight, right? To go tell him like, oh, like your son is like being like bad. By the way, he was Ghanaian too, so it was looking bad for him. But I went to go tell his parents. His parents was not complying at all. We told him like what he was doing, and he was like, what am I supposed to do about it? I was like, that's your child, but whatever. So I go back outside, and I come home, and then come to find out, like, the kid told my parents, and my dad, like, wouldn't listen to me, and, like, turned it south. So he was like, oh, don't go up to the house no more. Don't do that. Blah, blah, blah. Like, you was not supposed to do that. I was like, but, like, I was supposed to do that because you tell me to do that.
Yeah.
And he was like, no, don't do that again. Like, you're grounded. I was like, for what?
You're grounded.
David, what about you?
There was one time, it was in
Okay, you gotta understand her because there's power in the tongue, so you can't be saying that. But she probably.
It was a joke.
Alright, look, so you know how like when you're in college you have to look for a job and then so like you could take care of yourself while you're doing college.
Yeah.
Alright, so like we went to a sporting goods place and then we went to get me some cleats because I was about to play some soccer for my school. And then when we were leaving, I was like, this is a cool place. I'm about to work here while I'm in college. They just got so angry. They didn't even let me finish talking. All they heard was I wanted to work here. That's all they heard. They didn't hear the part that I said while I'm in college until I get a degree and I can get a better job.
No. I remember one time. Okay, so on social media, you get like, there's TikToks and stuff. And I showed my mom on TikTok one time. It was just a little joke, just laugh a little bit, whatever. And then I showed her the TikTok, and then she just like, it was like funny. Everybody's laughing in the comments. Everybody's laughing. Showed my mom, oh, this thing is not cool. Da da da. She started going crazy with the lectures. No, don't do this. I'm just like, mom, it was just a 15-second clip of just joking, and she was just turning into a whole big life lesson. Don't do this. I was like, okay, thank you. That's it. Oh my gosh.
For me, it was an early morning. I don't remember, but the garbage man came around, and I really like, cause you know how they ride on the garbage truck, and it looked cool to me as a kid. Like it really does look cool when you ride on the truck. And I said, well, I want to experience that. And she got so mad, so mad, and started praying and everything. She said, don't do it, don't do it, don't do
The
it.
garbage truck, bro.
Bro. Okay. So have you guys ever gone to school smelling like fish, stew, shit, all of that? Have you guys ever like gone to school smelling like that?
So all of you know my mom is Auntie Ophelia.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's a chef here, you know. Yeah, so like I smell like fish all the time going to school. Like on my graduation, she made me stay in a room with the AC because she didn't want me to go to school to smell like that.
Oh my gosh, that's so embarrassing when you get to school. What's that smell? And I'm just like, I'm sorry. Like when I was younger, okay, we went through it and it's like you go to school smell whatever because people don't really mind. Like it's just little kids. When you start growing, you don't want to smell like food when you get to school at 7 a.m. in the morning. People are gonna be like, what is that? So like I had to create different tactics to not smell like fish while I was going to school. One day my mom would be like, okay, put your clothes in the closet and also close the door. I'll do that. I would still go to school and I smell like fish. So I was like, Mom, what's up? So she was just like, I don't know what to do. I was like, can you cook like outside? So then she cooked outside one time. I was like, oh, thank you. Like I smell better, whatever. But then she keeps cooking inside, and then like I'll go to school smelling like fish, fish, fish. So then one time I was like, all right, I'm gonna put my clothes in the basement, in the garage, and then that's it. I will not go to school smelling like fish. I refuse because people will just call on you, pick on you, da da da. So it just became one time I was really smelling like fish. I went to school. I just told everybody straight up. I was like, hey, look, I smell like fish today. I don't want to hear from anybody. I smell like fish. My mom cooked fish, and by that time, like people knew, so they were like, oh, okay, whatever. So then, like the whole class is like, they wouldn't comment on my fish smell because I told them there and then, do not pick on me because today is not the day. I know I smell like fish. And sometimes I felt like she sabotaged me. My mom sabotaged me because my mom. Sometimes you don't know that your mom's gonna cook. Your mom, like you just chilling in your room, and like all you hear is that oil. When the fish splash, and you just hear the fish splattering, and you're like, yo, you're cooking. My room is open. Da, da, da. My clothes are out. I'm gonna smell like fish. Oh my god! And then you over here trying to, oh my god! And I like put it on candles and stuff. Okay, da, da, da. Oh my gosh, yo, they struggle. That's the struggle for real.
Oh my
Nobody else.
God.
You've never struggled unless you went to school smelling like fish.
Yeah, the amount of times I got in trouble for leaving my mom's door open before Sunday is just crazy. Like I forget to close the door when I'm walking out, and then the food catches her clothes because her clothes
They
is
don't like
inside the
that.
room. Yeah, and there was this one time when my mom was cooking. She sent me out to go buy some bowls so she could put it out and serve it. You know, so then the cashier. She told me I smell like onions.
Oh,
I'm like,
the cashier?
oh,
It's like there's no response. Like,
and then she told me to tell my mom after she cuts the onions, she should put it in a bowl and close it, and then the smell will go away. I'm like, why are you telling me this? I'm just so confused. I'm like, I don't even smell it on me. How do you smell it on me?
Sometimes we get used to the smell.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're getting to a wrap here. This is more of like a serious, but not serious question. A lot of people, we're first generation immigrants or children of immigrants. A lot of us, do you guys understand your traditional language? Do you speak your traditional language?
no.
No.
I try and like act like I do, but it's like
No, no. I can like do like broken phrases. Like I couldn't understand, but like speaking, like I feel shy to speak. But I just get so sad. Like I want to be fluent. Like I have a lot of Asian friends, and like they can see like fluent Chinese all over, and it's just like I could say like my kids like, oh, go to Ghana and like be with grandma and grandpa and speak. But then like when they come back, like I can't speak with them. That's just so weird. So I really wish I was fluent.
I can speak fluently. Like I don't want to. Like I kind of like, why do I have to? And then sometimes I think about these times where we could be at my mom could be picking me up at school, and I could just say something about the teacher, and the teacher wouldn't even know. Yeah. So like, I
I know what you're supposed to be speaking about for. No.
I know. So like the teacher can't defend herself or anything.
Okay, so a lot of us, we either don't understand or we understand but we don't speak. Are you guys afraid that like that aspect of the culture is gonna like? Are you basically afraid that the culture is gonna leave with you because you don't speak it? Like when you obviously, if you have children, you're not gonna speak it because you don't speak it now. Or are you gonna try to like learn the language, try to learn what to do so that the culture can continue? Or are you guys like okay with the culture just dying out?
No, I'm not okay with that at all. I want the culture to continue because that's like such an integral part of who you are. And so like I want to be able to like speak it, and I want my children to be able to speak it too, and so that they can pass it on and like have that bilingual aspect to them. I think is also very helpful.
Steph, what do you think? Do you think, like, are you scared that the culture is going to leave you, leave with you?
No, I'm not scared. I don't know it fully, but like I'm gonna use the words that my mom used on me, like go in the shower, go wash your hands, or I'll beat you and you'll see. Those African words. I don't, they say it. This is very traumatizing, but yeah, I don't think it's gonna leave our family. I think I'm gonna use it smallly, but like not like they're not gonna know fully.
What about you, Cody? Are you scared that the culture is going to leave?
Not really scared because like I mean the language does make a big part of like the culture, but like I'm not really scared because like I'm still gonna be like my family's still gonna express like how we were like how they were when they're kids and like how my mom's gonna explain like to my kids like oh like this is how it went, this how stuff and like oh like I don't know how to explain it like the culture doesn't die like unless you want it to. So, man, I don't know. It's not. I'm not scared of it dying, but like I feel like it will go on even if like I don't learn the like language, like our food or like our body language, how we like interact, or our perspective, like that won't change. But like the language, like we may like not be able to like say it, but like we still have that in us, I guess.
Yeah, I just don't understand like why didn't they start when you're young? Like I feel like it would be easier to pick up English along the way. I feel like English is an easier language to pick up than like the other languages.
All right, so this is the final question for tonight. I know it's been a long chat, so we didn't even get a break, but what are some of the parenting skills and aspects that you guys think that you'll take and like apply to your children?
For me, I'm definitely gonna like try and be close with my kids
what are some of the things that you will take from your parents? Like the way that your parents raised you, train up a child in the way that you should go. So what are you gonna take from them and apply to your children as well?
Alright, so I don't really know anything I would really take from my parents. But like one thing is one thing my parents do is like they talk a lot until I get annoyed and I finally go get up and wash the dishes. I might do that.
I think my parents are like really good conversationalists, so it makes like it easier to like talk about interesting topics. So I will definitely take that. I also think they were very good at like balancing strictness and like leniency. Like they have a good middle ground. So I will also take that too. And also they're actually like pretty good at apologizing when they think that they've done something wrong. So I'll make sure that like if I think, at least my mom is like, I don't know, my dad doesn't really, yeah, I don't know, my dad would never really apologize, but I think like if I know that I'm incorrect, like I do have to be like, I'm sorry.
I take like their time management because they're like I see that they have like they would lay their schedule out and they're like organized with that. So that's one thing I would take.
Communication. My mom communicate everything that she like does toward to me, and I do the same thing back. So like it will create a little relationship that like I'm not scared to tell my mom anything. Like even the stuff like I did in college, I ain't do nothing crazy. But yeah.
Okay, Stephanos, what would you take away?
I said earlier I'll take like the punishments, but I think like if I'm gonna teach my kids, I have to teach them like what I learned, like from my experience, not from theirs.
I think one thing that like I appreciate about my parents is that they know like when it's work time and then when it's family time, like they really do pay attention to like we do have to cater to the children as well. Yes, you have to go and get the money for the children, but you also have to spend time with the children. So that's one thing like I think I would take away is like that balance of work versus play. So yeah. But if nobody has anything else to say, um, I guess this has been the end of You Chats episode 2. Today we talked about African parenting and what it's like being an African child. Very interesting conversation, very interesting opinions from you guys. I appreciate everybody that was at home supporting us and watching. We're glad that you guys like these types of events, and we're going to continue doing them. So, yes, it's been great. Make sure that you guys tune in on YouTube on Sunday for our Youth Day. We're going crazy on Sunday. We're going to do some madness. But yes, tune in. We love you guys.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Bye.
So, ooh, sorry. Thank you all. Throw some comments